Morning everybody, Stefan here from Little Boat. Just dropped Willoughby and Veer off and just thought I'd answer one of those questions again. This time it's week 2 on leadership, and the question I'm going to answer is what do leaders do? Well, my view of what leaders do is they achieve a predetermined outcome with, through and for the people. So a predetermined outcome with, through and for the people. And what do I mean by that? Well, I think if you take the first part, the fact that they achieve a predetermined outcome is that, pretty much anybody can kick a ball, for example, and claim that they intended to score. But actually picking the place in the goal where you want the ball to go and hammering it and making sure it gets in there, that is what I'm talking about. A predetermined, conscious decision to achieve something and why. Now when I say that, it doesn't have to be the leader's decision, far from it, about where we go. But essentially a leader's role is to agree or define or collaborate to work out what a group of people need to achieve clearly and why and by when, and then to work with a group to organise the how. So that's the first thing. I think it's imperative that you agree collectively and get behind a predetermined goal or outcome. That might be the vision itself, and then the goals and the objectives that sit beneath it. So that's the first point. So the second element of what leaders do for me is they achieve that predetermined outcome with, through and for the people. Now what do I mean by that? Well, the first thing is that a leader isn't a leader unless they've got something and a group of people to lead. Now that might be preordained, as in that's a responsibility pre-given, but the reality is leaders can step up from within a group at any point based on their knowledge, their belief, their skills, or their habitual value base to help the group to achieve the predetermined outcome. And a leader, predetermined leader, or a leader within the group that steps into the place at times, which can be interchanged, are working with others to achieve the group. So that's identifying what's required, how it needs to be achieved, and then agreeing the best way in which to do that and playing their part. So that's for me the first thing. Through means that a leader is in a position to either have been preordained or to have found themselves within the group and as part of the leadership process to be able to work through people. So they don't do everything because they recognise that they have particular skills, particular strengths that they need to be in a position to leverage. And what they recognise is the skills, the capabilities, the motivations and the desires of those people around them in order to work through them to achieve the task. Many hands make light work, and many hands collaborate in an environment of enjoyment when people feel like they're collectively achieving together. So the second thing is that leaders are able to bring groups of people together who are able to achieve a task collectively. And at times that means that they remain at a distance, overseeing and drop in when required. And when required, it can be down to when they're asked or when they see there's a benefit, but it's contracted. The third element for me within that is that they do it for the people. So what that means is a leader has a requirement, a fundamental responsibility to answer the question, is what we have chosen to do and the way in which we have chosen to do it in the best interests of humanity, in the long, short and medium term. And for me, when we take actions that don't answer that question, then within today's world and within the face of the challenges we face, then you're not effectively leading. That is a question that the leader who is preordained to do so will come up with, or that's a question that a leader within a group will ask of the group. But it's fundamentally something that needs to be checked. So for me, those are the three elements that come into the fact that leaders work with, through and for the people. And finally, what else do I perceive after all of this time that leaders do? They do what needs to be done. They don't make easy decisions. But they intend to work on a premise to make themselves, their team, or the task redundant by finding the ways that are most efficient to achieve the outcome that's desired, to ensure that it's sustainable, and to ensure that they've worked out or fostered a culture in which the next phase of change can be identified and achieved. Because simply going through the motions isn't good enough. And the reality is if we're just going through the motions, we're effectively just managing the status quo. Anyway, that's my view on what do leaders do. Next time I'll talk you through how do leaders lead. If you've got any questions or would like to work with me as an exec coach, drop me a line at www.thelittleaboutiow.co.uk, and I look forward to speaking with you. Ta-ta for now.